Cindy Garcia, who will be teaching us the hobby of the week.
Hey guys, welcome back to Learning New Things. This hobby was actually submitted by the Band Association, so shout out to you guys. And then they requested for me to teach you guys how to play the clarinet. So let's get started. There are 7 basic pieces to a clarinet. Let's start with the reed. So it's this thin piece of wood. It's really, really thin. But today I'm going to be using a piece of plastic called the synthetic reed. And then we're going to take this reed and then we're going to place it onto the mouthpiece, just like this. Then we're going to take the third piece called the ligature, and then we're just going to wrap the ligature around the reed and the mouthpiece. Basically, the function of the ligature is to make sure that the reed and the mouthpiece are together. So whenever you blow into the mouthpiece, the reed is going to vibrate and then it's going to make a sound for you to play. And then you just always want to make sure that the reed is on there evenly. It can't be tilted to the right or to the left because then your noise isn't going to come out correctly. So we're just going to tighten that up with the screw. Now, my clarinet actually came with a metal ligature, and it does the job just fine. It's got 2 screws, but for better sound quality, leather ligature is the way to go. And then we're going to take our barrel, and then you're just going to connect it to the mouthpiece. Notice there's a little piece of cork right there. It's just going to help them stick to where whenever you take your hands out, it's not going to fall apart. Then we're going to take the top joint, and the top joint is just going to go into the barrel. And then there's the bottom joint, and it just does the same thing. Now you want to make sure that your notes match up. See these little circles, your keys, that they're just lined up, and that's how you know that they're going to be placed on there correctly. Then you're going to take your bell. The bell is actually really important. A lot of people underestimate it, but it's actually what's going to shape the sound for it to be able to come out of your clarinet and for your clarinet sound to sound really pretty. So this is how to put a clarinet together. Now that you know how a clarinet is put together, let's start with the basic functions of how to read music. So the clarinet is actually belongs to a family called the woodwinds. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them or not, but the woodwinds consist of clarinet, saxophone, flutes, oboe, just instruments like that. And originally the clarinet was all made of wood, but over the time some people just use plastic to make it, but wood gives it better sound quality. So let's start reading the notes. This is what a whole note is going to look like. A whole note lasts 4 beats, so a whole note would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was your whole note. Then there's the half note. A half note is half of a whole note, which only gets 2 beats to a note. Then we've got the quarter note. The quarter note is a quarter of the whole note, so it only gets 1 beat, and this is what it looks like. You've probably seen it like on your emojis and stuff. Or you've probably seen the 8th note, which gets half of a beat to a note. And the only difference between the quarter note and the 8th note is that it has the little flag on there. Sometimes 8th notes connect, so instead of the flag being down, it would just be like a line and then another 8th note on there. So now that you know how to read notes, you might want to know how to read sound, because sound is actually a really important thing whenever you're playing. Notice that if you were playing, you're going to want to breathe every once in a while. So whenever you see this, you're going to know that you're going to be able to rest for a beat. Now the woodwinds actually read from a treble clef, while the brass players, trombones, tubas, etc., play from the bass clef. So when we come back, we're actually going to learn how to play the clarinet. See you in a little bit.
I used to feed Phoebe Purina until I found out about the unnatural ingredients in that food. So I decided it was time to change her diet.
After switching to Peppy Supreme, Phoebe has been more energetic than ever.
Peppy Supreme is not available in stores. It is $19.95 and has a money-back guarantee.
guys, welcome back to Learning New Things. Earlier, before the break, I taught you guys how to put a clarinet together. I told you that there was 7 different pieces. There was the reed, ligature, mouthpiece, barrel, top joint, bottom joint, and bell, and how they all come together. And then I also taught you about the woodwind family, the brass family, and then I taught you about the treble clef as well as the bass clef. So basically, notice how there are 2 different notes aligned on there. So basically, when a director is talking to the whole band and he says, all right band, play a C. The woodwinds are going to play this C while the brass are going to play this C, and they would not sound anything like it. So when a director talks to the band, they talk in a form of concert notes. So for example, whenever a band is trying to get into tune, you're going to do a concert F, which for the woodwinds would be a G, and then for the brass players it would be a B. So you just kind of have to learn how to tell these apart. All right, so now that you guys know how to read the notes, how to do the clarinet, I'm going to play you guys a song that was actually submitted by the Band Association as well. And with it being the Christmas season, you guys can feel free to sing along. I don't know if you guys sang along or not. There was that. Another thing, to take care of your clarinet, you're going to want to use the cork grease. Usually whenever there is cold weather, your the corks at the bottom of your top joint, bottom joint, and barrel can sometimes get a little sticky. So cork grease is just going to help them. It's like a little chapstick for clarinets. You're just going to wrap it around them, and whenever you do that, it's just going to help them stick together. Now, you don't want to use too much cork grease whenever you place it around the cork, just because that can help them slip off. But whenever you do use them, it's just going to be a little chapstick. You just place it on there, and voila. And then whenever you put your top joint and your bottom joint, make sure that they're together again. Whenever you're taking your clarinet apart, as I'm doing right now, you're going to want to make sure to use something called a swab, because whenever you play your clarinet for so long, spit gets built up into it. So I know it sounds gross, but you have to make sure to clean it. So you're just going to place the little string in through the top, and you're just going to wait for it to come out at the bottom, and you pull, and that swab just cleans it out. There's that. And that's how to properly take care of your clarinet. There's that right there. So a good clarinet player usually carries 4 reeds with them. Today with me, I brought 5, just because you always have to be prepared. And they always come in this little reed guard. It's just a simple little plastic one. As a beginner clarinet player, you want to start off with a 2-inch reed. However, I started off with a 2. Now I'm at 3.5. I think they go up to like 4, but I'm just at 3.5. So I'm not exactly a professional player, which is why I don't use a 4. And then for competitive concerts, sometimes you want to use the synthetic reed for like marching band, or because you know how whenever you're marching, you take sudden turns. I was in a marching band, a military marching band, and so whenever you all of a sudden take a turn, oh well, there goes a reed because you accidentally chipped it. So these are a little bit more expensive, but they usually last you longer, and the sound quality is just as great. Also, some professionals have started using it, like some people in the symphony orchestra have been playing it, and they like it, so they like to recommend it as well. All right, if you guys want to join us for next week, feel free to do so.